Okay, let's start the Python control structures, which we finished in yesterday's class. We understood if statements, if else, if, all these we completed. So nested loops, while loop, for loop. I saw Sunny's video, which is excellently explained in Telugu, right? What is the difference between while loop and for loop? He posted in our group, right? So you can use the same logic. While will do, I explained in English, he posted in a theory in Telugu, which is condition will be given in while first, and for loop have the initial value and the final value. So let's start today. Nested loops also we completed. Let's start with a topic called with the for loops only or any loops. How do we use break, continue, and pass? From here, we have to continue our class. Okay. So break means, what is the meaning of break when you use in a loop? Means exit loop early, meaning you have to come out of the loop directly. Okay. And continue means continue. For example, if a condition is a given, when you are given a break statement in your for loop, you have to come out of the loop. That's the meaning of the break. Continue means you come out only if the condition is satisfied. Otherwise, for the next iteration, please continue. That's the meaning of the continue. Am I making sense? Break means come out of the entire loop. Continue means only for that iteration. Generally, loops are what iterable, right? 1 to 5, if we are saying first time, second time, third time. But break, if I say when the condition, for example, if I value equal to 3, you break, meaning don't continue 4 and 5. That's the meaning of it. If I say continue when I is equal to 3, what happens? The 3 will not be done, but it will continue from 4 onwards. Okay, that iteration will be stopped and continues from the next iteration. That's the meaning of the continue. Okay, and pass means do nothing. Generally, you ignore it. That's the meaning of the pass. These are the three statements can be used in the for loop or in a for loop or a while loop. How do we use that? We will understand. So let's go to the next slide. For example, see, if condition I have to use. Whenever I want to give a condition in a loops, I have to give an if condition. For example, what I am doing for I in range 5, meaning I value is 0. First initial value is 0 and the increment up to what? Up to 4. Meaning if 5 is declared up to 4 and there is no step increment. Now what I am doing here, I am doing if I is equal to 3, continue. Print I, meaning whenever first 0 will come. 0 is not equal to 3. So it prints 0. Then 2 will come. 1 will come. 1 it will print. 2 will come. But when it 3, it won't do that. That iteration it will not do. It will continue to the next 4. That is the meaning of continue. Okay, break means what? Same condition I gave, break 3 I said here. If the condition is satisfied, when you are using break means only 0, 1, 2 are printed, meaning the entire loop gets exit. When you use a break statement, the entire loop comes out. When you give a condition and use a continue statement means that iteration only stops. Clear? Okay. Now, pass means just generally don't do anything. For example, you gave the condition, print, you are using a pass. It's no use of pass only, to be frank. It continues as it is. Okay, pass is a meaning generally. Pass means you continue. That is a meaning. Not continue. You ignore it. Ignore is the meaning of that. Just a placeholder. Why do you use this placeholder in future classes? I will tell, because when I am teaching you packages and modules, that time I can use this pass statement. First, initialization has to be done to create a package. So for that time, this placeholder will be useful. So that time it will be useful. For now, you listen, you understand as it pass means do nothing, just a placeholder. Okay. With this topic, we completed loops and conditional statements, all those. Let's go to practical. Where is my... Are you able to see my screen?
Yes, Pinny.
Okay. Give me a second. I have to remove all these before I come to the topic. So let's go to our folder, which is loops and conditions or control structures. Now, let's understand the program. Now, one of you have to tell me the output for each one. So, let us pick Balaji first. Okay. What it will give the output here? What will give the output? What I'm doing for I in range 1 to 11. 1 to 11 I'm giving. If I percentage 2 equal to 0, continue. If I is equal to 7, break. Else, odd I. What is output expected from this?
It will
Balaji, try.
print odd numbers from 1 to 135. And in 7,
135.
it will break the loop.
Entire loop. Very good.
Yes.
So whenever percentage is 2, meaning you are asking to continue. Equal to 0 means you are you are asking to continue. So continue means it when that condition is satisfied, it will continue, and if I is equal to 7, it breaks. So odd numbers are printed. Okay, next. So we'll take Snehita. Can you check what it will be printed here? What is a continuous statement meaning? You're frozen. What is a
Except
output expected?
5, except 5, all will print.
Up to 9 it will print.
Except
Right?
5,
Yeah.
all will print.
Except 5 up to 9 it will print it. I'm correcting your all will print means that all should have a value, right? Up to 9 I'm saying. 5 except 5, because 5 condition is satisfied. You don't do that iteration, but from the next iteration you print. That's the meaning of that. Next. For break, continue. For break example. For break, continue. Both I have used. For continue. All examples are passed. So, what will happen here? Hasini, very easy one you got. I was trying for a best one.
0 to 9.
0 to 9. Just it's in a pass. So that this is in a fundamental. Okay. So now we finished this concept. Let's move to the next concept. So which concept you wanted to continue? Today you wanted to learn about exceptions or files or functions. It is your choice. I can tell you that. Are you having in your syllabus files, exceptions? Exception handling is there or not?
Yes, Pinny, we have 3 of them.
All 3 are there. So let's go to the then exceptions. Then today we'll complete the theory and tomorrow we'll do the practical. Can you help me? Where is the exceptions? Oh, I got it. Today we'll complete the theory. Then from tomorrow onwards, we'll understand the like practical how we did it for loops and control statements. So basically exception. Where is Nehita? She's gone, not there. Okay. Exception means an error. Generally, exception means an error. Which error? In during the runtime, meaning when you are running, exception comes. A simple example I will give. When a number is divided by 0, what happens? General maths. ఒక number ని divide by 0 చేస్తే ఏమవుతుంది? Can you divide a number by 0?
No.
No.
Infinite.
Infinite loop. Excellent. It goes to an infinite loop. Meaning when you try to execute in the computer program, I mean in your Python program, what happens? The program keep running, keep on executing, and you can't come out. Sometimes Python crashes, or sometimes it requests the laptop closes off, or runtime error comes. Meaning during execution it comes. So what we will do? So we will control that exceptions not to come by mistake. A human can do any mistake, right? Human errors are very common. So not only human error, in banking system, something happens. If the account balance is 0 or something, some exceptions comes. Because if you have given the conditions, opening balance should be minimum 5K or something like that. If you have given such conditions, that time also runtime errors will come. You should not crash a system or a crash an application or a crash on a website. For that, exceptions will be there. Exceptions, built-in exceptions. As I told, built-in keyword will be used across your Python syllabus. Built-in functions, built-in exceptions, built-in libraries, built-in packages, built-in procedures, all those will be there. Built-in keywords, built-in functions, everything will be there. Similarly, for exceptions also you have built-in. Built-in is nothing but which comes along with your Python code. So on notebook, what is a exception for definition? An exception is an error that occurs during the execution of a program. Python has many built-in exceptions and allows you to create your own. Meaning you can create your own exceptions also. It need not be whatever the exceptions available cannot be your logic. For example, I just told, in a banking account, if the opening balance is not there, minimum 5,000, you can you can ask the account to be not in use, or discarded account, you can say. You can discard for few months or few days until the customer reaches to the bank, something like that. Those are also called exceptions you wanted to handle, but you will handle with your own user defined exceptions, your own user defined. So this is about exceptions. Why use exceptions? ఎందుకు యూజ్ చేయాలి? Why means because you want a user friendly error. Meaning, if I am, though the Python is English spoken English or English related language, very interpretable, you can easily understand Python. However, certain keywords may not be understood by any normal human or any normal person. So that's why exceptions are used. Basically, you can create your own meaning of the exception. And not only that, abrupt termination in the runtime. During the runtime, if it is abruptly stopped, it is not good sign of a good programmer. We cannot call if it is abruptly closing of the Python screen or Python etc. or laptop etc. So that's the reason you need to handle with the exception. Meaning you will assume that exception and say that if this exception occurs, I want this action to happen, or I want this message to happen, or I want to continue next program, or I wanted to do something else. I keep on doing that. That is called prevention. Makes error handling cleaner and more readable. Meaning cleaner in the sense when exception is done, oh, this somebody has done in a human error, that's why it went to exception, and a readable message will come. And during your automation of testing script or something, if you try to give the exceptions, it will be readable, and also helps in debugging. So why it helps? Because you gave the user friendly, and you can debug from there. Why did the user has put that kind of number or a ASCII value or something like that? Some program provides user friendly error message. That is why it is used. Now next list talks about built-in exceptions. Meaning by default, along with Python, these are the keywords or these are the exception, not keywords basically. These are the exception list which are there. For example, zero division error, which I gave earlier. When a number is divided by zero, it goes to an infinite loop. So instead of going to infinite loop, I use a zero division error. When such situation comes, I will call zero division error exception. Then I will write my own user-defined message. So if this exception comes, I will write my own message or I will calculate whatever I wanted. No, if zero comes, you do this way. I will give my code accordingly. That's the meaning of zero division. Type error. Type error means, for example, you have defined the data type as integer and you are trying to enter in a character. Type means data types. Data types are many, like integer, float, character, string, multiple things are there. You define something in your program and you are trying to enter something, then it gives you a type error. So that keyword, if you use in your exception, this works out. Am I am making sense so far? Are you able to follow? Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Name error. Name error means raised when variable is not defined. See, I told you from beginning Python can be used directly without declaring the variables. Right. That is true. Even that is now also I'm saying that is true. Raised when variable is not defined means, for example, if I am trying to I did not complete a chapter called functions. So exceptions, functions, and files need to be learned in parallel because all those words are used here and there. It is not a complete exceptions I complete and go to the next chapter. It is not like that. All three chapters run in parallel because file not found error, one more is there. Until unless you know how to open a file, how to read a file, you cannot use this exception. So all these three chapters are in parallel. That's why I asked which chapter you want, but you answered all three are same. So we started this. So name error, why did I explain means in functions, what happens is you can have a global variable and local variable. Global variable means a global variable can be declared anywhere and used anywhere. In local variable means a defined function, meaning a separate function is there where I declared the variable. I am using that variable outside that function. మనం సినిమాల్లో అంటూ ఉంటాం కదా నేను లోకల్ సంథింగ్ లైక్ దట్ యూ విల్ కాల్ నో దట్ మీన్స్ ఇన్ లోకల్ యు ఆర్ పవర్ఫుల్ బట్ outside local if you come you are not powerful. Similarly same concept you will have here also. What is that? Global variable means you can use in any functions. In any functions, though I did not discuss with you, function means a set of sentences wrote and wrapped in a function, meaning grouping. I'm doing a grouping. In other generic word, it is grouping, categorization, something like that I'm doing. So in that category, I declared a variable, but I'm using outside that category. So that times this name error will come. Variable is not defined, but you are trying to use it. Okay, index error. So this index error means list and tuple, right? List and tuple are defined. List, how it is defined? In square brackets, right? Tuple is used in normal braces. So if you are trying, you have defined your list as 1, 2, 3, but you are trying to print index of 4. I define 1, 2, 3 in your list, but you are printing index of 4. Do I have index of 4 in these three numbers? No. 0, 1, 2 only I have. Even though if I give index of 3, it won't print, right? So index value is different and place value, which you learnt in your previous classes. So when you are using the index error, it indicates that you are requesting which is not in the range of the list or tuple. That's the meaning of index error. Key error. Key error means the key which is not existing and you are trying to put a key error during the execution, like apostrophe, something which is not applicable you are trying to do. That becomes a key error. Similarly, file not found. File not found means what? You are trying to read a file which is not there. Files is in a different chapter again altogether. I will teach. I told you in parallel, all these 3 chapters should be learned. File is something I am trying to read a file which is not there. Sridevi file is not there, but I want to read that file in my entire drive of my operating system under my laptop. I don't have any file with the name Sridevi, but I'm trying to read and I'm trying to print. So what happens in your error when you execute that kind of program? It says your file itself not there. What the hell you are doing? It shows that error. So that time what I do, I will say if file is not there, then go to the exception, file not found, and say, do you want me to create this file? You will ask. That means that is how I handle the exception. Okay, that is file not found. Value error means again, which is in another chapter, which is called functions, where you will have multiple types of functions with parameters, functions without parameters, function with default values, function with, like this, multiple varieties will be there. While teaching that chapter, I will cover this, but you can use this exception during that time. While I'm teaching the functions, you can use that exception there. Okay, so you have defined a function created with name and something like age, or name and roll number, something like that. You have created 2 parameters of your function, but you are sending name and some other city. So the parameter is value is mismatching. You define something and you are sending some other value which is not related to the defined value. That means it is a value error. Next comes the attribute error, meaning raised when an attribute reference or an assignment fails. Similar to your, there I'm saying about a value, but here without creating a parameter only, I'm trying to pull the value or push the value without declaring only. So that time it is called attribute error. Did you understand theoretically all these words, Balaji?
Yes, Uttam. I got it.
Snehita, you are on and off. Did you understand?
Yes, Satana.
Okay. Now, how do you handle this? Meaning, practically, how do you write this exceptions in your Python code? That is, these are the keywords you use to do it. Try, except, finally, raise. Raise means when you use manually. When you write an exception manually, you use a raise keyword. Finally means if all exceptions are there, but I wanted to do like else statement. Finally do this. Whether they exist or not, do this at the end. Something like that. That is finally. Try means you keep on monitoring like a dog, how the dog monitors the house. Similarly, you keep on trying to check whether that particular exception is coming or not. Then you are trying, and you will catch that. Once it appears, it catches. So trying means it keep on trying. Except means once that exception comes, like file not found or value error or index error or zero division error, whatever the XYZ built-in functions I told, all those I will use with the keyword called except. Okay. Next. Again, redefining them. Try is contains the code that might raise the exception. Except means what happens if that comes, once the exception comes. Else also you can use. Else statement, meaning if these conditions are not there, else you do. Irrespective of else is not there or not, finally, but for everything you do this. Even though the exception comes or not, you do this. Always execute regardless whether the exception occurs or else condition satisfied or anything, you do this. That is about that. In another 10 minutes, it gets out. Please relog in again. And raise means, raise is meaning not using the existing functionalities, existing built-in exceptions, but you will customize and use that. That time I will show that example. Tomorrow I'll show that. So see here. Try and accept. This is a small definition. That's why I'm skipping. So try and accept example. For example, try means you write the code what to try. Except is exception type. This is a syntax to how to use. Now try result 10 by 0. I gave in a value 10 by 0. So automatically exception occurred there. As soon as I enter divided by 0, exception occurred. So how do I handle? I am saying except 0 division error. That means that is a keyword directly I am using. What I am saying, cannot divide by 0. I am giving a friendly message called cannot divide by 0. Okay, did you understand the simple program? Anyway, I'll show practically for tomorrow. But did you understand how to use? I'm waiting for your acknowledgement. Yes, no?
Yes. Yes, Penny.
Yes, Tammy.
Okay. So it is not mandate that everything you should have any exceptions, only one exception. You can have multiple exceptions. Whatever I told, the 10 or 9 as samples, index error, everything you can put in the same program, just to try and except condition 1, condition 2, condition 3, like that. I mean, exceptions, multiple exceptions you can do. See, if you see, I'm entering here in this example, I'm entering a number. It's a human error. If I enter in a right number, 5 number, if I enter 10 by 5, so my value is 5 2s are 10. So 2 is my result. What I'm doing in the else, I have to give that. Okay. Please enter the, I didn't give in the else statement, I can give that saying that please provide the result. Print result, I will say. Here, though the program doesn't have that code, but you can say else print a result, you can say. Now, if I say 0, meaning it should go to the 0 division error. Cannot divide by 0. It should give the friendly message. If I enter a character, for example, A I have entered. So 10 by A, it will say value error. You have declared as an integer there. You are telling that integer only you accept. Here, you are using int keyword here. So you are saying that, but you are entering A value, which is not relevant to the data type. So value error, meaning you cannot divide a number by an alphabet. That's why invalid input or please enter a number, friendly message you are trying to give. Okay, this is multiple. Similarly, same thing, I said else. There only I told you can use else also. Finally, also you can say. Finally, irrespective of their occurs, but you mandatory close. See here, I have used a file concept, which I will tell while teaching the files. You will not understand because you don't know the syntax of file open, how to do all those. I'll ignore this slide. Raise means generally raise should work with your functions or classes, meaning OOPS concept. With OOPS concept, exception should be handling perfectly right. As in a good developer, they will use the exceptions, user defined exceptions with the classes or with the functions. So similarly, here value error here is not a keyword. Okay, you can put anything like Sridevi Patnala or Sridevi error, something like that. Your own defined number exception you can put it, but put a meaningful error, not like Sridevi error, which I told. So you are checking a age. When the age is entered in the negative, we didn't had any negative value, positive value as a built-in function. If you observe, whatever the built-in exceptions I have told, there is no negative value exception. So I'm using an exception type value error here, though value error is in a similar data type which is already existing. So use in a different keyword and try to use that. You are saying age is valid. If the exception is less than 0 or negative value or something like that, if you are entering, you are raising an exception. How to raise? You are using a keyword. This is called user defined exception. But you see a different altogether because I have defined a function and then I'm calling a function within a different thing. So you are not able to understand this format because I did not explain you functions. Okay, functions with the parameter I used and tried to raise an exception in the functions. So as communicating from the last 10 minutes, all 3 chapters go in hand. So again, when functions are there, I will revise this, how to use the exception during the functions. Similarly, list and tuple, in that you go and see, try to print the index value which is out of range and then handle that. During your data science, I will explain that, how a variable where index error is performed, I will show. Okay, these are the examples. So with this, I will stop for today's class, and tomorrow I will show you the what is that? Practical for exceptions, and next I will show you what is it, other chapter, whichever will continue next chapter, either files or functions will continue. And with this you are entering into an what is that called, from fundamentals to intermediate stage. Let me open that and explain also if I have opened that slide. Okay, example. So in your first class, I explained these are the things. Python introduction, installing, variables, data types, data structures, operators, input, output operations, conditional statements, and loops also I finished. Okay. Exceptions today, theoretically, I finished. If I finish lambda and functions, your fundamentals are done. With this chapter, your fundamentals are done. Of course, with this chapter, I will take 2 days, but with this chapter, you are already a graduate developer of Python. You have built the logic. Yesterday, you might have given 70 programs altogether. I have given only in conditional statements and loops, nested loops, etc. So you built the logic in your first syllabus. When you enter into the intermediate stage, these are the concepts, but you will revise the same programs in a better way. After 2 days or 3 days, after this week, probably, I will start with intermediate syllabus. Okay. Then you will go to advanced. After that, how many people are there today? I am not seeing many of you. After that, I won't directly go to the advanced topic. You need to decide after intermediate which stream you want to go. Either data science or AI or ML or all three, or all three means no batches there currently. Accordingly, I will fit you on those lines. In advanced, I will give you theory and practical little. And when I put you in data science with multiple people, you will join. And your college is also there, no? Will adjust accordingly, weekend batches or early morning batches, like that I will put. Because if in your group only, in your 6-7 people are there, no, in your group, if they divide, if the interest lies on AI or if the interest lies on DS, accordingly we will divide. Okay? By that time, you should get the clarity what to do and which role you want to play in your after your BTech. That clarity you should get. No, I want to learn all three, master of all, but meaning I want to become all in one. That's good, but master of none is not good. So you need to master one. Okay, one subject you need to master, because how much ever I teach, something will be missing, which need to be learned. Self-learning is important there. So it goes like that. Done? Re-log in here because only 40 seconds is there. So I'll stop here and log in. It takes time for me because the video is getting recorded. Done? To log in. I'll give you the homework then. Chalo, bye.